Before you watch this video, subscribe now. I apologize for not uploading motorcycle videos for the past months. I introduced our first motorcycle, which is the Honda Wave 125S. This will be a project motorcycle. But before we get into that build series, I need to get this thing working properly in order to get it registered. I will be uploading videos that will show you on how I will make this motorcycle roadworthy. So this video is all about on how to replace your brake pads on your motorcycle. I inspected the brakes of this motorcycle and I noticed that it has a rear disc brake. Originally, Honda Wave has drum brakes which is cable operated. On the front, there are two options. Honda Wave comes with either drum or disc brake. It seems like the front brake caliper was replaced with the generic ones. I will remove the tires and the brake calipers for the reason that the wheels and tires will be restored. It will be uploaded on another video, so stay tuned for that. Remove the bolt using a 14mm wrench and 17mm wrench for the nut. Hit it with a hammer to hasten the process. Hit the bolt to remove it completely. Grab a 13mm wrench to remove the bolt of the caliper bracket. Slide the caliper assembly out of the way. In order to remove the brake pads, grab an Allen wrench to remove the two guide pins or hanger. This pin gets corroded easily, so be sure to put some grease on it. Separate the bracket and the caliper. The caliper needs some minor cleaning, and I will use the old brake pads to compress it later. Here is how the old brake pads looks like. For the front brake caliper, use a 12mm wrench to remove the two bolts. Use a hammer to hasten the process. This is how the bolt looks like. Slide and remove the caliper from the shock arm. Use an Allen wrench to remove the two guide pins or hanger. Then remove the brake pads. This is how the old brake pads looks like. You can clearly see that a portion of a pad material is missing. I'm just gonna put the caliper back to keep it in place, because I will remove the tires and buy some new brake pads. Here I bought a Bendix brake pads. In order to compress the piston, you will need to use the old brake pads in order to compress the two pistons evenly. Use a C-clamp to compress it. Before I compress the piston, I will check the brake master fluid level to make sure that there will be no spills. But it turns out that this reservoir is empty and filled with gunk from the old brake fluid. I'm gonna fix this soon. Remove the two guide pins. Insert the old brake pad and compress the piston using a C-clamp. Make sure that both pistons are evenly flat. Clean it with a wire brush to remove some dirt and debris. Don't forget to clean the two guide pins or hanger. This is how the new brake pads looks like. Here is a side-by-side comparison. Insert the new brake pads onto the caliper. The upper and inner part of the caliper has an edge where it holds the brake pad. You can see that the retainers has two edges where the brake pad is inserted. Be sure to put grease on those two hanger pins. Also, don't forget to put grease on those two slider pins to prevent it from any rust and corrosion, plus the caliper can move freely. Reinstall the caliper assembly back to its place. Reinstall all bolts and tighten it snug. Time for the rear caliper. The rear brakes are super weak, and it makes me wonder why. Grab the old brake pads and compress the brake piston using a C-clamp. I'm not sure why this piston doesn't match the other one, so I'll try to test it by compressing it and pumping it. Now that both pistons are flat, time to pump it out. And yes, they are uneven. probably because of the position of the brake fluid inlet, or maybe something hinders it. So I decided to remove the piston, but before that, clean the outer surface using a brush. Keep pumping the brakes, and when you feel the piston is about to come out, pull it out. I started cleaning each piston and I discovered that the first piston is corroded. So I cleaned it using a steel brush. This is a temporary fix because I will replace the whole assembly in the future. Now that both pistons are clean, time to clean the calipers. I will use a brush to remove any dirt and debris. Pour some brake fluid and drain it to remove any sediments. This is where the rust came from. Lubricate each piston before reinstalling it back to the brake caliper. Gently insert the piston. Then compress it using an old brake pad and a C-clamp. After compressing it, it needs to be bleeded since it has air inside. I will show the process of it today. I will upload another video for that. This is the brake master, and I relocated the reservoir inside the box luggage. Here I discovered that the rod of the brake master is not adjusted well, causing it to have weak brakes. This is the new brake pads for the rear. Here is a side-by-side comparison of the old and new brake pads. Clean the hanger pins and the caliper too with a wire brush. Install the new brake pads onto the caliper. Put grease on those two hanger pins and reinstall it. Make sure to tighten everything snug. Don't forget to put grease onto the slider pins. Also, remember to put the washer back on. Install everything back together and make sure that everything is tight. And that's how you replace the brake pads, except for the other things. I hope you enjoy and find this video helpful. Subscribe now for more videos. Please hit like and click the notification bell to keep you guys updated on my upcoming videos. Thank you very much and God bless.